Good evening, Niner fans. How we feeling? Haven't seen you guys in a few days, right? I mean, I saw you Tuesday, I guess, with Larry Krueger. But it's the off season. Haven't been live as much, so appreciate you guys for tuning in when you do. How are we feeling? The 49ers made a little bit of a news update today. They signed a player, cornerback, and the draft is getting closer. I'm excited for the draft because we actually get some news. We get some new players on the team, and we get something to talk about. A little bit more action to speak about because right now, kind of the dead season, the off season, there's not much going on. Players are training, they're getting back to the grind, they're getting themselves prepared. Monday, the 15th, there's going to be the 49ers report back, and it's like the first day back, kind of, before minicamp next month for the rookies, things of that nature. So let's talk about it. Today, the 49ers announced that the team has signed cornerback Rock Yassin to a 1 year deal. I love the name Rock Yassin, man. I remember him in the 2019 NFL draft when, we were going over players, doing mock drafts, and, looking at players' film and everything. This is a guy I really liked. I remember he was a guy that I was like, oh, I hope 49ers could draft him. And I remember him in the Senior Bowl going up one-on-one against Deebo Samuel. And, I mean, they were going at it. And Rock Ya-Sin was one of the highly touted cornerbacks coming out of that draft. And obviously Deebo Samuel was too. So Ya-Sin, he's 5'11", 195 pounds. He was drafted by the Indianapolis Colts in the second round of the 2019 NFL draft. He was 34th overall. So he was again, a highly touted prospect, and he's played in the NFL for 5 years with the Colts, the Raiders, and the Ravens. Last year, he was with the Ravens in 2023. He's had 66 games played, 40 starts. He's registered 193 tackles. Let's see, 29 passes defended, 2 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles, and 2 fumble recoveries in his 5 year career. He played 14 games last year for the Ravens, 1 start, 12 tackles, 2 passes defended with Baltimore. He also played in the playoffs with them. So he's a guy that gives them some depth. They can play him on the outside, compete. He's a veteran. He's been in the league for 5 years. He's a hard-hitting player. He played a little safety, I think, if I remember right. He could play a little bit DB, but he's a little bit undersized, I think. So he's 5'11". You probably want to put him on the outside, maybe. And you can maybe move Deondre Lenore to the slot. He's very versatile. So we'll see how this goes. I still think that the 49ers are not going to say, okay, we got Rocky Sin, let's not draft a cornerback. I absolutely think they'll still draft a cornerback. They got Darrell Luter, who's a younger cornerback they drafted last year, Sam Womack 2 years ago. So you have some depth now. And also, you got to remember, they have Ambry Thomas. This might be make or break. It's going to be a competition in the camp. Can Rocky Sin beat out these younger players? That to me is the battle here. So how are we feeling? What's going on? So let's talk about. Let's see who's in the chat. I'll respond to the chat. My man, hey Peter Parker says, "What's up, Raj? Feels like I haven't seen you in forever. Hope all is well." Yeah, it feels like I haven't seen you in a lot of you guys in forever. It's been weird. Off season's been busy. I've been working a lot, but I'm doing good. I hope you are too. And my man says, I've been keeping busy this offseason. Put the Super Bowl behind me. That's how I've been doing, just grinding, head down work. Get over that Super Bowl, right? My man 49ers Throwback says 14 days left until the NFL draft. Absolutely. I'm excited for that. Invader 49ers says, what's up? What's up? 49ers Media says, what's up? Hope all is well. I'm good. You owe me my templates. We'll talk later. Dabtopia says, hey, Raj, JD Durham, football. That's right. How the heck is everybody going? What's the contract for Rockison? I didn't see any specifics. If we get any specifics, we'll definitely talk about it. But I haven't seen any specifics, really. They just say it's a 1 year deal. So I think they're still contract details haven't been released as far as I know. So, and I think the 49ers also, by adding this guy, Rocky said, like, I like this guy. He's not like the greatest cornerback. He's not an elite cornerback. He's good. He's a good vet, and he can tackle. He's a surefire tackler. Like there was a play, I think it was last year, where he takes Amon Ra, and Lions are a big time team. He took Amon Ra, and he just like threw him back. I mean, he almost suplexed him. This guy's a physical corner. You guys probably saw the highlight that's posted. I think I posted on my Twitter. Like he was just jamming Jamar Chase. He ate him up. There's another play where I think he played Jacksonville. I mean, he took the receiver and he just like threw him over his head. So the guy's physical. Now, is he the best cornerback in the world? No. but the 49ers are balling on a budget, and they get guys that are kind of underrated, and then they step up and play a lot better than they ever have in their career. And that's the 49ers. They don't get big, savvy signings, they get smaller, underrated value picks, and he could be a very, good depth piece. Again, there's a lot of younger players that the 49ers have that could develop. So we'll see how this goes. But they addressed it, they added depth. You can't hate the 49ers for at least adding some depth. So let's take a look at some your comments here. So Invader 49ers says he's a good blitzer too. Yeah, and again, maybe this is what Nick Sorensen wants, a guy that can come in and be physical, blitz and stuff. And you got to remember, we have a new defensive coordinator, so maybe this is something that he wanted to add to his mix, another physical, aggressive corner. And the 49ers have a lot of aggressive corners. If you really look at this roster, Mooney Ward, he jams receivers. He loves to be physical. Deondre Lenore, very physical receiver. I mean, you guys remember the hit in that Philly game, just brought the business. So another very physical cornerback on the roster. Maybe that's what Nick Sorensen wants, right? My man Steven Reynolds. So do you think Demo will be the new slot cornerback, or will they draft a new slot cornerback? And that's a great question. I really think that Demo could play the slot. It's going to be a battle in camp. It really depends on who steps up where. Demo could play outside. He could play inside. I think they're going to try to maybe play him inside and see how he fares there, because that's a very tough spot. That nickel corner spot is very, very difficult. It's not easy, but Demo showed he can play that well. He could play outside well. But if you can get a guy that can play the outside so good, and then your inside, nickel corner is very effective, then you got the best of both worlds. So they might keep Demo there because he might be better at the nickel spot than anybody else on this team at that position. So I think that they're going to try to maybe play him in that spot because he's very versatile. So, what I mean. But again, you can't rule out some of these younger guys. Darrell Luter, we didn't get to see much of him because of the injury he dealt with last season, and Sam Womack as well. So those two guys really get a chance to showcase themselves. And then you got, the outlier there, the X factors, Ambry Thomas. He hasn't really lived up to his third round draft, value. So this is a guy right there. Ambry Thomas is a guy that it's make or break offseason for him. Is he going to get passed up by Rock Ya-Sin? Does this put pressure on him to try to be, better than he ever has? This is it, make or break season for Ambry Thomas. And again, we'll see how it goes. So if I had to bet though, Steven, I would I would probably bet that, yeah, Diablo Lenore is probably the odds-on favorite to be the nickel cornerback. But we'll see how it goes. Um, my man, Invader 49ers says, think they try and sign Lenore before camp too. They might try to extend him. Yeah, you get him now. If you extend him now, it'll be cheaper before he has like a breakout season this year. He had a really good year last year. He continues to develop, and maybe you lock him in at a price this year so he doesn't, hit the market like next year and you can't afford him. So it's a possibility, but I think the biggest thing that the 49ers need to do is make sure they get Brandon Aiyuk paid. But that's going to take some time. Right. And we all have seen Brandon Ayuk's working hard. He's grinding. He's been posting videos last week, this week, of him working out. He did make a little comment though on his IG story, but I don't think it was too crazy. I don't know if you guys saw this, but Brandon Aiyuk, I shared it on my Twitter. I think I posted on my Instagram. And he put this is what he said. He says in emojis, he put emojis, dog emoji, house emoji, dog house, the only place for a big hog. The dog house is the only place for a big dog. I don't know. Maybe I don't think he's taking any shots at the team or Shanahan with the doghouse. I think he's just telling them like, "Hey, I'm in the doghouse. I'm in the dog, like the house of the dog. Like I'm working out. I'm grinding. I'm working. I'm making myself a big dog. I'm making myself. This is where I go to become that big dog, right? I'm in the gym working. I'm in the doghouse to make myself a bigger dog. That's the way I took it. But some people thought it was, oh no, doghouse Shanahan. Oh my God. So it's funny. I like how Brandon Ayuk's playing this whole contract situation the way it should be played. I think he's doing a good job. I don't think he's been too dramatic. So he's kind of been quiet, honestly, and he's been working hard. He's been grinding. I've seen him post a lot of videos of his workouts and stuff like that. So, um, oh man, Agnew signed with the Niners. Jamal Agnew. I haven't heard anything. I haven't seen anything. Jamal Agnew. That's news to me. If Jamal Agnew signed with the Niners, that's news to me. Let's look it up. Maybe did he sign while I was streaming here? Yeah, I don't see anybody. Jamal Agnew. That's news to me, Stephen Reynolds. But we'll have to. Well, I don't know. Maybe we'll get something. Maybe it's fake news. Who knows? Um, my man Peter Parker says, "I'm so tired of hearing about Womack, Ambry, etc. It's every offseason. It's make or break for season, make or break season. Yeah, you know what? Every season we sit here and say, all right, it's make or break, or this guy can step up. At the end of the day, these guys either got to sink or swim. You know, Ambry Thomas, he's been up and down. He had a few good plays here, a few bad plays, a few good games, a few bad games. Sam Womack, we always say, oh, he's got so much potential. He's flashed some potential, but last year he really didn't do much. If you really think about it, he got hurt and he didn't make an impact. And you know, sometimes the 49ers, we get all these guys and we're excited. Of course, we're fans. So we get so excited for these players. But you're right. You're right, Peter Parker. Some of them, they don't really do much. And then in the offseason, we hear about them. Oh, this could be a breakout. This could be the breakout year. At the end of the day, these guys have to prove themselves. This is a make or break season for a lot of these guys. This team is getting older, right? This team's getting older. Some of these guys aren't going to be there forever. Some of these guys have expiring contracts. So you hope that your younger guys that you drafted 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 1 year ago, that they could take that next step. And if they don't, then you need to find guys that are quality and they're proven. So it is a make or break season for a lot of players. So Ambry Thomas is done, says 49ers throwback. He's done. I don't know. This is a big offseason for a lot of players. They got to come out and compete and show that they deserve to be on this roster and maybe at least can be competitive and put up some statistics. You know, Ambry's one of those guys. I feel like Danny Gray's another one of those guys. We drafted him a few years ago in the third round, and it was high hopes. We saw the speed. We were like, oh, salivating. I know. I was like, oh, God, look at the speed this guy has. He could be that deep threat, and he hasn't done much, and he got hurt last year. So a lot of guys you can sit here and say are kind of on the fence here. You know, Drake Jackson. They drafted him with the second pick or second round pick. It was their first pick, not the second pick. He was their first pick of the draft 2 years ago. He was a second rounder, and they had a lot of high hopes for this guy. And they were ready for this guy to be their, second cornerstone edge rusher on the other side of Nick Bosa. He just hasn't materialized. So a lot of guys are up against the wall this offseason, and the Niners are counting on them to really take that next step. And then, they get some veterans that are going to be there that could really help out this team. But, they also have the draft coming up in 2 weeks. I think someone mentioned 14 days, right? 14 days until the draft. This is a big draft because they got to hit on a lot of positions. 49ers are getting older. We've talked about it the last couple of days, a couple of weeks on some of these streams. George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, Trent Williams. Where are they going to be in 2 3 years? Are they going to be on the Niners anymore? Are they going to be in the NFL anymore? I don't know. Like Trent Williams specifically, he's a guy that in 2 years he's probably not going to be in the league anymore, right? He's 36 years old. In 2 more years he'll be 38. For an offensive lineman who's just been taking hits and lumps, and he's been playing his ass off and plays so physical, and he went through cancer treatment and everything. So in 2 years, I don't know if Trent Williams is going to be there. So they have to hit on a lot of positions. Christian McCaffrey in 2 years, is he still going to be the same running back? The way that the 49ers utilize him and hand him the ball so many times, and the way he runs his routes and plays wide receiver sometimes out of the slot, for the 49ers. Deebo Samuel, same thing. He plays running, he plays that wide back position where he catches a lot, he runs a lot, he does so much for this team. It takes a big toll on the body. Where are these guys going to be? George Kittle, he blocks. He's like a lineman out there. Plus, he's the tight end that catches an abundance of catches when, you know, uh, George Kittle or sorry, Brock Purdy needs him to, especially in the red zone. Where are these guys going to be in 2 years? This is a big draft. They got to get some big time players that they could develop and turn into the next wave of 49ers, that they can build and become next cornerstone players. And the 49ers are known for drafting well and building their team through the draft. So this is a draft where they have to really hit on a lot of positions. So Debtopia says, wasn't Gray involved in the Rashi Rice accident? Any news on the consequences? I know it was rumored on Reddit, but from what I heard today, it appears that the person. So I'll address this real quick. It doesn't look like it was. Danny Gray, but there were Twitter rumors, not Twitter rumors, but I think someone on Reddit had said Danny Gray was. But according to Ari Myrov of My Sports Update, SMU cornerback Teddy Knox was the other driver involved in the multi-car crash in Dallas with Chiefs wide receiver Rashi Rice, and he's been suspended by the team. So SMU cornerback, that's the same team Danny Gray and Rashi Rice. So I mean, they're boys from SMU. That's the other guy that was involved in the car crash. So it doesn't appear that Danny Gray was involved in this accident. So good for him. My man Steven Reynolds says, will they draft well without Adam Peters? Time will tell. We got 2 weeks to see how the 49ers can draft. This is going to be a big draft without Adam Peters. You know, that's something that we have to talk about, right? Adam Peters was the, uh, the assistant GM, right? He was kind of the guy that a lot of people said was the big drafter, right? The guy behind the scenes for all the late round picks, the fifth round gems, the late round guys that the 49ers were getting, especially the Kittles, and Jawan Jennings, those types of guys. He's not there on the team anymore. He's now the GM of the Washington Commanders. So this is going to be an interesting draft. How are the 49ers life of drafting going to be without Adam Peters? How important was he? Was he the architect of those late round picks? And we're going to find out a lot with this draft and the next couple of drafts without Adam Peters, right? A lot of people put a lot of stock into Adam Peters, and he was so important. And he was so, important for these draft picks, myself included. I always said Adam Peters, he's the guy. That's the vibe we always got. That's what we were told. That's the kind of what content creator says. It's just Adam Peters. He's the guy. He's the guru. Late round guy. He could be the GM. If they got rid of John Lynch, it's fine because Adam Peters is the next man up, right? We're gonna see really how influential he was, and we're gonna see how his team turns out in Washington. He spent a lot of money this offseason. Is he really the go? Is he really the guru? We'll see what John Lynch can do without Adam Peters. I'm interested to see how this draft's going to be. I'm so excited. I'm intrigued. We have 10 draft picks, and we have John Lynch, Mr. Due Diligence himself. This guy, draft day comes, he's wheeling and dealing, styling and profiling. So, my man Invader 49er says, I imagine Adam Peters has some fingerprints on this draft. We're going to see how it goes. Let Lynch cook. I want to see Lynch dominate this. Again, if Lynch goes out there and crushes this draft with his front office right now, he can make us forget about Adam Peters. So I'm excited to see what he can do. I think he'll trade a lot. I'm expecting John Lynch to make a draft day trade. Now, whether it's a big trade, a blockbuster trade, or just a small, move up a few spots here and there, that's to be determined. That's what we're gonna really see. But I wouldn't be surprised if John Lynch trades up, a couple spots maybe to go up, 5 spots, 6 spots, 8 spots here and there. He does it almost every year. He always trades up. I remember last year, breaking news, the 49ers traded up. Oh my God. I think the year before this would, and we all remember the big Trey Lance, trade where they traded up to get to the 3rd pick. So that was a big one. So John Lynch, he likes to be aggressive on draft day. So we'll see. My man, Real Spider-Man says, do you do mock drafts? I usually do. Last year, I still was doing them. I usually was big time on mocks and, update, doing all the draft hype and all that stuff. The last year or so, just kind of got away from it. Not because I don't want to. It's just I've had really much time. And like some people say, oh, it doesn't take that long, this or that. I'm a perfectionist. I like to do the draft, get the content, get the videos, and really take time to post it all and everything. I just don't have the time, honestly, because I've been working 60 hours a week in, over the last year and a half. So I don't know. I work a lot, and by the time I get home, I'm just last thing I need to do, last thing I want to do sometimes is go and do a mock and then post all the content. It's not that I don't want to, but I'm just so tired. And then I still sometimes have work when I come home. So unfortunately, I haven't really had time to do the mock drafts. And then when I'm at work, I can't sit and be on my phone for an hour to do the mock draft because my job is I'm always on the go. I'm always with a patient. And so I can't sit there and say, hey, why don't you sit here for a second while I do this mock draft and make some content? I can't do it. So Unfortunately, I haven't had a chance, but I want to do a mock draft. I want to try to do a mock draft if I get some time before the draft in 2 weeks, but we'll see. Then on the weekends, I got a lot of errands and stuff to do, so we'll see. My man Steven Reynolds says when when you and Lombardi were talking a couple weeks ago on the podcast, he wouldn't be surprised if he said that he wouldn't be surprised if the Niners trade up in the first round. Yeah, we talked about that. I think he was on my Instagram. We were live for a little bit, and he said the same thing. He says he wouldn't be surprised if the 49ers traded up in the first round. I wouldn't be either. I wouldn't be surprised if they trade up myself. I mean, I don't know if they'll trade up to like top 15, top 10. Like that's a big trade, but they're at 31. I could see them move up to like 25, 24, something of that nature, to move up a few spots there. But I don't know if they'd have enough ammunition to go and trade up into like the top 15. But I do think that they would trade up in the draft this season. So we'll see. I'm excited. I don't know. What do you guys think? You guys think 49ers make a trade? You think the 49ers are going to stay put at 31 and all their picks, or you think John Lynch is going to get the itch to trade and pull the trigger? I feel like he's going to pull that trigger and make a trade myself. So my man Frank Tom Ocean says, "I'm here to smash the like button, bro. Appreciate you, Frank. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Hit the like button. Do your job. Hit the like button. Help me out. Let's keep growing the channel. I appreciate you guys. I know I'm not as busy as active on the YouTube and the lives lately, but again, just working a lot. But I appreciate all the support." My man Steven says, "I don't know. They can't be able to draft quality offensive tackle who's better than Mims. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, that's the thing. If you are pressing yourself to get an offensive tackle, yeah, you're going to miss out on some of the better tackles. But I don't think you necessarily have to get a tackle, right? Um, I think you can get a premium center because there's some better centers maybe at 31, and you still upgrade the offensive line. I think if you get one of the or even a guard, which I think that the 49ers, if they upgrade this line in some way, getting a center or some interior lineman, it doesn't necessarily have to be a tackle. I think we're all sitting here saying there has to be a tackle. It has to be a tackle because we don't like Colton McKivitz, right? Or the majority of fans don't. I think as long as they upgrade this O line in some way and get a star on the line, we'll be okay. Because then you can move one of your guys that's a starter right now, and he can play as a depth piece, or you can move him on the line, and it wouldn't be as bad if they can get a quality start, like a guy that could be a perennial starter and possible Pro Bowler on this offensive line. You do it. And it doesn't have to be right tackle. Because again, you got to realize Brendel, he's 32, journeyman. You could replace him. He's a plug and you can get a plug and play guy. Guard, right? Yeah, Burford, who's in year two, but or sorry, year three. He didn't really take that leap in year two. Feliciano's there. They re-signed him. He could probably start at guard. But after this year, is Feliciano going to be back? He's 32. Aaron Banks on the left side, great player, probably going to be a Pro Bowler this season if he continues to play the way he's played. He's in a contract year. You got to make sure you get some insurance in case he bolts and doesn't come back. Trent Williams, left tackle, right? We want to get his successor. I don't know if you're going to get a guy that's going to be as good. Nobody's going to be as good as Trent Williams coming in right away, but I don't know if you're going to get a left tackle or a tackle that's going to be as good as Trent Williams in a year or two, right? So that's tough to say. Maybe you go and get a free agent next year after if Trent Williams, walks away from the game. So that's hard. And then right tackle, right? We all want to improve a right tackle. But if you press yourself to get that you have to get a right tackle in that first round, you may not get a better player than Colton McKivitz right away. So then you just wasted your draft pick. So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. But if they want to trade up to get a very good player, I could see that happening too. Yeah. So we'll see. Yeah. 49ers throwback says agree, and the Niners should have prepared for the future for Trent and Feliciano retire. This is the thing. The 49ers, I just don't think that they put a lot of emphasis on the O line. There's certain positions where they kind of like, nah, okay, we'll get around. We can get away with not like forcing the hand. I think at this point, this year and next year, 2 years, not just this year and next year, you got to really force the hand at offensive line. You got to get better. It's not a sexy pick, but you need offensive line. You need to fortify that wall, protect your quarterback because they have the weapons. They have great, receivers. They have a great running back, great tight end. You got a good defense, a really good defense, right? Got good cornerbacks. You have great linebackers. You have a great defensive end. Nick Bosa, he was a defensive player of the year, the year before. You have a really good defense. It's not like you have to get prime playmakers. You do want to get some, but you need to build this offensive line this year and next year. You don't know what's going to happen in the next 2 years. Those are premium positions. I think they need to get 2 or 3 offensive linemen this year, and next year 2 or 3 offensive linemen. So I don't know. We'll see. My man Peter Parker says if Kyle drafts a running back, I might check out till kickoff weekend, Raj. I think he's going to draft a running back. Now, will it be a third round? I don't know. Will it be a late round? I don't know. I do think he'll draft a running back at some point in this draft, or even get an undrafted running back. You got to think he will, and I don't think it's a bad thing. I know a lot of people. I talked about this with Larry the other day, Larry Kruger. I don't think it's a bad thing if they get a running back, because Christian McCaffrey, fantastic running back. If they can go get like a Blake Corum, I wouldn't be mad, because you get a fantastic running back, Christian McCaffrey. You get a guy that could be the heir apparent, or like the next big running back in the league, and you let him kind of develop behind Christian McCaffrey. You take some pressure off Christian McCaffrey, because I know we got JP Mason, and I love JP Mason, and I think he needs more carries. And I know they have Elijah Mitchell, but the thing about Elijah Mitchell is, when has he played a full season? Never. He can't stay healthy. You have damaged goods right there. There's no value for Elijah Mitchell in a trade. You can't trade Elijah Mitchell. Bottom line. So maybe you go get a good running back. You have Christian McCaffrey for another year or two, and when he's done, now you have your heir apparent. It's freaking really good running back, and you still have J.P. Mason there. So you still have a really good core of running backs. You can kind of let Elijah Mitchell segue out of the way, because I just can't rely on Elijah Mitchell. I love the guy, but I cannot rely on Elijah Mitchell. So, we'll see. My man Throwback says Frank Gore is going to make sure his son comes to the Niners. I honestly could see that. I could see Frank Gore making sure the 49ers select Frank Gore Jr. on draft day. I could see it. I could see it. He's a part of the front office, and I could see him calling up John Lynch. Hey, yo, Big John, my son's still on the draft board. Why don't you draft his ass? Oh, yeah, okay, Frankie. All right, anything for you. I could see that. That'd be cool. My man Steven says Niners might trade Mitchell and or Ambry. I don't think they don't have trade value. That's the problem. Like, you can't trade those guys. You just better hope that they come to camp healthy and they can prepare to battle it out and earn a roster spot. If they don't, they're gone. You're not going to lose much. You're not losing out on play. Like, yeah, okay, it sucks. You drafted these guys. They didn't pan out. But you're not going to lose much. Maybe some depth, but they're replaceable. Ambry Thomas is replaceable. Elijah Mitchell's replaceable. I love the two guys. I think they have talent, but they're just Ambry's not consistent, and Elijah Mitchell is injury prone. So you could replace those guys. You can't get anything from them. Maybe a 7th-round pick for those guys. Is that worth it? No, I don't think so. So you just let them play it out and see if they can make the roster. If not, it's cut, snip, snip. He gone, she gone, be gone. That's it. So a couple questions, and we'll bounce out of here. I just wanted to keep it short and simple today. My man 49ers Throwback says, what do you think of the new uniform helmet policy? I love it. So if you guys aren't familiar with it, but I'm sure you guys are, yesterday Tom Pelissero said that the NFL has now expanded uniform concepts and are allowing a third helmet design. The 49ers need to get two more helmet designs out there, and everybody's of course posting all these different designs. We've seen it before. We've seen jersey swaps. Cool. Like the graphic god on Instagram always makes different swaps of jerseys and helmets. There's like an all white, alternate Niners helmet. There's like an all red. There's an all black. There's a gold chrome helmet. So many cool designs. I would love to see the 49ers throw some razzle dazzle. Go get some gold chrome on a white jersey on the throwback whites. Would be fantastic. Go get those all white jerseys with an all white helmet. I mean, come on, man. It'd be fantastic. I think it would be cool. Style it up. I'm not sitting here saying, oh, the red and gold suck. Like, I love the Niner jerseys. Red and gold jerseys, the standard is great. The classic red and gold jerseys, the red jerseys with the white letters and, the gold trim. Like, the 49er jerseys are beautiful the way they are. But it wouldn't hurt to go throw a cool little stylish, fit together one day. You wear, iced out white jersey, white helmet, or iced out throwback whites with the gold chrome helmet. Give it a little pop. I'm happy about that. I think it's cool. and I think you can get really creative and make all types of designs. So I love it. I like it. I love the rule. I love it. Ian Sharp says, I still think Mitchell and Mason were underused. Yeah, I think they were, especially Mason. But the problem is Christian McCaffrey's so good. He took so many carries. He stayed healthy, and that was the thing about Christian McCaffrey was, he's not durable. He's gonna get hurt. He played through that season and he grinded his ass off and he was so good. And the 49ers, we've seen them do good with like mediocre running backs and like late round picks. They finally got the cream of the crop, the best running back in the NFL to this offense, which is a run first offense. I mean, he was offensive player of the year. Like that's how good Christian McCaffrey. So it's I feel like I can see why Kyle Shanahan doesn't give the ball to anybody else when on in the running game. I mean, I want him to because I want to take pressure off of CMC. I don't want him to get hurt because I don't know if he can keep up the pace of all those touches he gets. But man, when Christian McCaffrey touches that ball, the potential for a big play is like it's there. Almost every play could be a home run play. You know what I mean? So, but I do see the argument of give Mason the ball, give Mitchell the ball, take some pressure off of CMC. But they can't do the same thing as CMC in this op. They can do some good stuff. But let's not get it twisted. You give Christian McCaffrey the ball, almost every play probably has the potential to break it loose. So, so we should get another CMC as well. My man Rashad says there's not a lot of CMCs in the world. It's hard to come by a CMC, my man. Second to none. He's one of the best running backs I've ever seen in the NFL. Not just in the 49ers. One of the best running backs I've ever seen in the NFL. He's so good. So my man JD says with a better line, they could take some pressure off of CMC. That is a fact of nature. Oh man, Julius says, would you rather have Graham Barton or Tyler Guyton if they're both at 31? That's a tough one. I think Graham Barton's probably the better prospect. It's close. It's like splitting hairs. I think they're both very talented. I think they're both going to be really good linemen. But if I had to choose, my preference would be Graham Barton. I really like the guy. All right, my guys, that's it for today. I just wanted to keep it short and simple. The 49ers signed Rock Ya-Sin, cornerback extraordinaire. I don't know about extraordinaire, but that's it. We'll keep y'all updated. Maybe I'll go live on Instagram a little later. Haven't been on Instagram in a minute, so I'll hop on there. We'll talk about the same stuff we probably talked about here. But you guys have a good rest of your night. Take care. Keep it real. Take care. Bang bang. Not a gang. Love you guys.